But I want to get into this these deceptive and predatory practices that you're talking about, because I think this is what we hear, because we've talked to a lot of solar people over the years, and solar stuff has changed in the course of 5 years that we've been doing the show. But like one of the things that we hear back from our audience a lot is like they've lost trust in a lot of the solar business, because they've heard about or have a friend that, got taken advantage of, or it wasn't explained to them well, and then they ended up, upside down, or, however that happens. So like in your experience, like what have been some of like the biggest, I hate to say lies, but I mean, that's what it is.
Scams.
Scams.
Let's say it. That's the problem with our industry. And so if I can back up and kind of give you the position that got me into this, would open my eyes to it. So I come from a very technical background. For the last 18 years of my career, I designed and engineered smart homes from that perspective.
Yeah.
So everything I did was, thousands of wires in a home, everything's Wi-Fi, network, enterprise network level. And so when these homes lost power, they couldn't turn lights on because there's no light switches on their walls. Everything's automated, voice controlled, proximity, sensors. And so their homes don't work if they don't have power.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. Like, I've not even thought about the fact you can't turn your lights on if you're in full automation, if your power goes. That's
you have to have
awful.
Redundancies in place.
Yeah, you have to.
Is that because like the system needs to be like rebooted, or
it's because the entire system works off of network. It's IoT, the whole home. When you talk about security, a lot of their doors are access control doors, right? Because
real quick, you said IoT, and there's probably a lot of people that have no idea what that means.
Internet of Things.
Internet of Things.
Woohoo! I know something.
Yeah, and so everything's connected through the internet. Cameras. A lot of them will have biometric, thumb readers on their doors. They don't actually even have keys to open the doors. They just put their thumb, or when their phone gets close enough to the house, it has near-field communication, and it will just unlock the door when the husband or wife or children walk in.
I noticed he didn't say NFC that time.
Yeah, I did. I was going to.
I knew he was. I knew he was.
And so whenever people have this house built this way, you have to back it up, not just with a generator, because if you do a generator, you have the elapsed time where the system goes down for a few seconds, few minutes, and then and seeking solar companies to come and assist me in that portion. So I would design the system. I would spec out what we need based off the information they provided me. And then I had homeowners coming and getting very upset when they hit their first outage and the batteries weren't even enough to handle the house load, to shift the load onto it, to immediately throw the breaker. And I started, getting these customers that say, hey, you said as a bonus I was also going to get, this much money a month, or my bill is going to be reduced to this, and it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there's a disconnect here, so let me jump into the industry and figure out how to bridge that gap, because these are also homes that are, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 square foot homes. So these aren't little, tract homes or spec homes. So with those kind of solutions, they weren't able. This industry blew up so quick and was flooded with people that were educated on pitch and not educated on technology. So we ended up, seeing the niche in the market that wasn't being filled, being bridged and gapped. So we dove into it and we started researching. We, opened this company in March of 2021. So we're just at a 2-year mark. And so each year we just kept digging and clawing to get to the facts, because we would hear something from a competitor, or we'd hear something from one of my previous contractors I worked with. And we said, how can we go after this head on and reveal it all, like see what's true, what's not, and really deep dive. And that's kind of what began this journey. So we basically started looking at the things that we thought and we were saying when we first opened, you're going to get a 30% tax credit, and that's going to help lower your bill, or that's going to be money in your pocket, whenever you go to file your taxes, you're going to get X amount back. And just for round numbers on these larger homes, say it's a $100,000 project, you're going to get $30,000 back at the end of the year when you go to file your taxes. And then we had, more information provided through finance companies and reading online and doing our research as we should, that those are all based off of your liabilities. If you're on a fixed income or retirement, you're not taxed. You don't have the liabilities, and so there's a lot of places that we started to see it didn't fit everyone.
Yeah,
It wasn't for the entire community can get this. And then if you're a 1099 self-employed or something of the sort, you have to pay taxes at the end of the year. So this will go in lieu of that. So now you don't have to come out of pocket that 30%, whatever amount you had, that can go in place of it. But you're still not getting that money back.
It's not money you can go spend on
Correct.
groceries.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So the only place it really comes back to you is if, and I do have to say I'm not a CPA. Legally, consult your CPA on this advice. But the 30% tax credit, it really applies to a W-2 employee that has been paying taxes in all year.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is the amount that the tax credit is applicable to your liability, you will receive whatever you paid in as a refund.
Okay.
That's where it really works. Or if you're a business owner or an enterprise, you have several different avenues of income, and you do have that tax liability that you would be coming out of pocket at the end of the year.
Right.
This would go in lieu of it. It still doesn't mean you're getting that as a check in the mail from the
Yeah.
IRS.
So what is that? Okay, like I hear what you're saying, and I am by far any type of financial expert. In fact, I am the opposite. So, when it comes to all of that, what does that really equate to? Because I mean, I know it's different for everybody, but and different employers do different things with taxes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like, whenever someone comes in and says, for example, you're going to get a 30% tax credit on this, what kind of dollars does that actually equate to typically?
So solar, you're looking somewhere, between a real good size system that, and I'll lead into that answer in just a moment. But most people are sizing these systems grossly undersized. So they'll come in and say, I can give you a system for 20 grand, 30 grand, and run your whole home's power off of it. And that's problem A. So, excuse me. So once we go into seeing the systems that are being sized wrong, to get it really sized, you're probably looking more like 50 to 60K. And that's just for your solar solution. Once you add in your battery, if you want to add in the trifecta of having a generator to get truly off-grid, grid resilience, independent power creator, own your power, not lease it, then you're probably looking at getting close to 100,000.
Okay.
So that's for an average home, say between 25 and 4,500 square foot. If you have a smaller home, you're going to be on the lower end of those spectrums.